Next label. The X model. Okay, so now we go, so we put the phone number right here, and then I'll tell you what we're going to put in here. So we customize the label. So you got your call center, you got the label you're going to send. Now we're going to go to the data. Now you can do Property Radar, which is who I used to use until 6 weeks ago or so. Okay, when I switched to Realty Track full time. Now I was using both, but now I'm using Realty Track only in Realty's Mega System. So in Realty's Mega System, I'm able to get leads for 15 cents each. Lee?
Mega.realtytrack.com.
Yeah. So what we're able to do is that we're able to go through, we use Realty. This is where we're going to get the data. You use it anywhere you want. You can get it from title. You don't have to use any of these, okay? But if you want data, I just found that these are my two primary sources. Now, when I'm looking at data, I'm looking for a couple of things. I'm looking for notice trustee sale, I'm looking for ones that are not listed, and I'm looking for ones that don't have BK. Now, why do I want to skip the ones that are listed already? Because they're listed already. All right? And why do I want to skip BKs? Because, bankruptcy, sorry.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah, because bankruptcies, the reason we skip bankruptcy, because they're already lawyered up. 100% of the time you go talk to somebody they got it handled, and my attorney's handling. That's always the answer. So we just found that it's just not really that effective to go work with people who are already lawyered up, if you will, and BK is a pretty high indicator that they've lawyered up. Now, is that always true? No, it's not always true. Lee?
Have you found it effective with the new Mega System to filter out the leads?
No, because I like vacant. That's my highest favorite. I want vacant. So you'll see why. All right. Next thing is I use Root for Me. Now you don't have to use Root for Me, and I don't even know how much it costs. It could be $19 a month, $29 a month, $49 a month. I can't remember. Okay, I don't know how much it is, but I can tell you that I pay for it if we just use it one time a day because I've taken the data. So let's say I get 10 names. When I get the data and I plug it in, Property Radar has their mapping system, which I use, and I think MapQuest has one, and you can manually, and you can do it. Some of you are smarter than Siri, okay? I mean, I've driven in the car with some of you, not literally, but I've been in cars where Siri's saying to turn right, and they're saying, no, we're not going, we're going, that know what it's talking about. You all know somebody like that. Some of you may be like that, all right? I just trust the technology. Siri says turn right, I turn right, okay? I don't care that I've gone that way 1,000 times, and it's always worked out fine. I just trust the technology. So what I did is that when we started testing Root for Me, we found Root for Me trimmed our delivery time by half. Okay? So by half. So if the other sources were saying it's going to take 2 hours to deliver these labels, we were able to deliver them in 1. Okay? And I just find that to be more efficient in a world where I just don't have enough time to do everything anyway. Okay? Right? So you guys are like that as well. So you want to, and it gives you your turn by turn. Some people have gotten a Garmin system that you just download the stuff into your Garmin and it does it for you, and that's equally efficient. And that's just a one-time fee of $400. I have a model number if that's your thing, and I'll be happy to give that. I don't know. I don't use that. We just use this. I like this because I've got multiple people in my office, and we share this account, so it just makes it a little easier. And then you order your drone. All right? How many? You guys don't have a delivery drones yet?
Soon enough.
Oh, no, I wish it were that easy. We don't have to, we don't order the drone. So now we have to do a delivery. So, let me share some space here real quick. So, I'm sorry I don't have a X label, to use Lee's term. But this is what the label. So as part of our system, I give you the first 120 labels. So in terms of the system, we go to the delivery. And so this is what we're going to do. So we get your data, you're driving out, and you're going to do delivery. How many of you can see yourself getting in the car and actually going out to deliver a label? You're going to see this concept. So we go, and if you get to the property and it's listed, what should you do? Keep going. Don't even stop. Okay? Then I want you to take the label, which you will have filled out the way that I'll teach you, but we'll just do the label right now. I want you, everybody imagine this, take your label off, put it on your pants. Then what I want you to do is I want you to walk to the front door, or the place that they most likely enter. I want you to put it on your door. I want you to walk back to your car. I want you to get in your car, and I want you to drive forward. All right? Now, hold on. I got to ask. How many can see yourself doing that? Let me see. Show of hands. All right? Now, I want to tell you it's more complicated than that. I feel like I need to tell you it's more complicated than that. I feel like if you don't think it's more complicated than that, then it can't work. But I can tell you that's the whole monster system right there. So now people come home, so imagine, first of all, anybody want to know why I put it on my pants?
No.
Because if I don't put it on my pants, it's a permanent sticker. Okay? And that won't be endearing to your relation. It's not a way to start a relationship by showing up with a razor blade trying to get it off their door. That's not the way to do it. So, and then you leave. So that's all it is. So can you see yourself doing that? Let me see yourself. Let me show a hand. Now I saw myself doing that, and I did it one day. And by the end of my hour, what do you think I said?
I'm done.
I can get somebody else to do this.
Yeah.
Okay? I can get somebody else to do this. Okay, so this is how I decide in my world. Okay? Now, I'm going to say something it's not going to sound very humble. Okay? Okay, it's not going to be very humble, but I made $114,000 last month. Okay? I've got $160,000 in escrow right now of commissionable income. I'm only saying that to tell you that this is an important part of what I do. Okay, I'm going to tell you also that 3 or 4 years ago, my house was in foreclosure and my car got repossessed. Okay, so I started over after losing over $1 million in another business. And I'm not here to tell you that. But what I've learned is that I don't have time to do everything. Okay? And for me, I spend my day trying to figure out what is the highest and best use of my time. And here's how I decide. If me doing it doesn't make a difference in the outcome, then I need to get somebody else to do it. Putting labels out is one of those things that me doing it doesn't make a difference in the outcome. So I get other people to do it. Now, where I make a difference, okay, in the outcome is when we start talking to homeowners, okay, and we start having conversations with them. That's where my input has a difference in the outcome. Can you see the difference?
Yes.
All right, now putting labels out is something, this is something that you should all start with. This is something that you should all go door to door, put the label out, because you've got to be able to explain it to somebody, but after about an hour, you could probably teach somebody else how to do it. And it will take you, now I'm going on and on, I think. I mean, it feels like it to me because I don't really want to talk about it, but I don't want everybody to get caught in this label thing. I can teach you how to do this in about 8 minutes. Okay? Now, maybe it takes a half hour for you to teach an 18-year-old kid to do it for you. Or somebody who just wants to work a few hours a week and you pay them $10, $15, $20 an hour to do it, or $2 a label, or whatever. The point is it's not expensive to get somebody else to do it for you. All right. So we're going to talk about abandoned properties for a second. I like abandoned, or I think the correct term is vacant. Okay. I call them abandoned. But I like vacant properties. Now, why do I like vacant properties? Okay, so remember why I like NOTS? There's not that many, I'm beating realtors to the deal, right? And they're not being, that pond is not being fished that hard. I like abandoned properties because it's fished even less. There's even less competition for it. You know why? Because people are lazy. People don't want to do the work it takes in order to connect with an abandoned property. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
But if you can get through to them, so think about this. You got a distressed property that's now abandoned. Now, especially if you're an investor, okay? Think about this. If you're an investor, you got someone, and there's a great deal of apathy, and you're able to have a conversation with them and say, hey, whether or not it's equity or no equity, you can have a conversation that you may be eligible to receive $10,000 or more, okay, in exchange for your cooperation. Now, that's not a complicated conversation to have with people, and all of a sudden they go from, I don't care, the bank can have it, to, I can get $10,000. What do I got to do? All right, can you see how that conversation can take place? If you can find them. So here's what I do. I use a service called Intellius. By the way, Intellius, free trial. Root for Me, free trial. Property Radar, free trial. These are all things, they all have 3 to 14 days. I don't know which one does what. You have to look them up yourself, but they all offer 3 to 14 day free trials, so you can try them and then decide if you want to use them or not. Okay? So I put the information in this case I just used Jim Smith in Santa Clarita, California. I was just picking on somebody. And look what came out. I probably shouldn't. But anyway, I got all these phone numbers, all these email addresses. I've got all these previous addresses that may or may not be affiliated with. Now, do I have a place to start? Yes. That easy. You know how long it took me to get all that information? About 30 seconds. Okay, now, do I need to call every one of those phone numbers? Okay, and try to reach somebody? No. I don't. I mean, I could do that, but again, I'm kind of lazy. I'm on to permission marketing. So what's going to happen is that I'm going to use a technology called slide dial. Anybody know what slide dial is? Well, you won't offend me if you open up your phones right now and go to your respective app stores and download slide dial. SLYDIAL. You want to download it. And what I love about slide dial, have you ever made a phone call to somebody that you were obligated to call, but you didn't really want to talk to them, and you just wanted to get their voicemail? Yeah. And it goes something like this: please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't answer, please don't. Oh, good. Hey, Joe. All right, you know what I mean? All right. Well, what slide dial does for you is it skips the ringing part and goes straight to voicemail. Okay? So if you don't want to talk to somebody, but you want to communicate via voicemail, slide dial skips the ringing and goes straight to the voicemail. But here's what I like even more about it. I can open up that same slide dial app, and I can put these 5 phone numbers. I guess there's 3 of them, technically, because I see. I can take those 3 phone numbers, I can plug them in, I can record a message, and I can hit send, and it'll just dump my voicemail right into all 3 of those voicemail boxes.
What's your message?
Hi. You're a genius. And what do you say? Hi, this is David Bartels with Home Loan Advocates. I'm reaching out to offer assistance with the property located on ABC Street. As of February 1st, 2015, you may be eligible to receive $10,000 for cooperating with your lender to avoid foreclosure. You may be eligible for these incentives even if you are a tenant presently occupying the home. There's no cost or obligation to help you get any of the incentive money that is available to you. If you'd like to, if you would like to see if you are eligible, please call me at 818-584-6830 to discuss. Again, my name's David Bartels, and my number is. What do you think about that?
Oh, yeah.
Might I get a phone call?
Yeah.
Okay. And remember this, I have these email addresses, right? I have these previous addresses. So how about I send them a letter and an email too? So now I send an email to all those addresses, and my email is a little longer. My letter is a little longer. Okay? And so what it says here is it says basically it's saying the same thing that we put easily avoid having. So I'm reaching out to offer you assistance with what appears to be an abandoned home. As of February 1st, you may be eligible to receive $10,000 for cooperating with your lender to avoid foreclosure on underwater properties, or even more if the property is not underwater. In addition, there is significant liability to the owners of abandoned properties that is easily avoided without having to spend a lot of time or money. We're experts at quickly and easily helping you get the incentive money that's available to you for properly disposing of unwanted property and eliminating your liability. Okay, you may be eligible for these incentives even if you or a tenant presently occupy the home. To help you understand your options, we prepared a package that provides important information. See, now I'm inviting, see what we're doing? Mm-hmm. So I won't get into it, but the bottom line is that I say our objective is to help you keep your home out of foreclosure and make sure you understand all the options. There's no cost or obligation to have the package delivered, and then they call. So I email that, and I mail it to all known addresses. Will I get a call back? Maybe. Go ahead.
What if the guy says that I've abandoned this house and I've taken out all the stuff from the house, which is of importance?
Yeah.
And,
I'll buy it.
I'll buy it. I don't need to respond to anybody's,
You can't.
enticement